Today, we're going to talk about people who cheat in video games and why people hate them so much. Over the last decade, I've noticed a growing hatred towards cheaters. People now feel as if cheating in a game is one of the worst things you can possibly do. People will compare video game cheating towards murder or other heinous acts. They'll also threaten to unalive cheaters or even wish death and suffering to cheaters and their families. It's become morally acceptable to tell cheaters to off themselves or to threaten physical harm on their families, just for being related to someone who cheats in a video game. But why? Why do people feel so strongly about this? There's a lot of videos on YouTube where cheaters supposedly get trolled by downloading fake software. These videos are very popular and have millions of views, despite all of them being completely fake and illegal if they weren't. It's literally illegal to spread malicious malware and install rats onto people's computers. It's a crime in the United States and most other countries. Yet, these videos are cheered on and fully supported by most people who think they're real. They are supporting a person who is committing a federal crime, only because the victims are cheating in a game. It's justified to commit a crime and ruin someone's computer because that person cheats in a game. So, let's talk about cheaters. Why do people even cheat? And are they bad people because of it? I've made 2 videos before on why people cheat, and in the second video, I went a bit deeper into it. But now, let's go even more in depth and talk about the stereotypes people often associate with cheaters. Most cheaters are perceived as selfish and only caring about themselves. They're also seen as lazy and are the kind of people who take shortcuts in life. Now, let's extrapolate that and talk about people in general. Human beings are naturally selfish and lazy. It's in our DNA. It's coded into us to prioritize ourselves over strangers. Everyone always looks for shortcuts because we want to spend the least amount of time and effort. This is why people play the lottery or gamble or buy meme coins. Everyone is looking for a quick get-rich scheme. No one wants to do the long and boring way, which is going to university, getting a degree, and then hopefully finding a 6-figure salary job at some company. That takes time and effort. And if there's another easier way, people will pick that option. This is pretty much why people cheat. Why would someone waste hundreds or thousands of hours of their time just to get good at one video game? What's the point when you'll never make money from it or go pro? It's just for your ego, so you can feel a sense of accomplishment. But that accomplishment is completely meaningless in the real world. No one cares if you're global elite or face it level 10. So why is it seen as evil if someone cheats their way towards a meaningless goal? We can all accept that playing games is a waste of time. It won't advance your life other than just giving you some entertainment or dopamine. It would be different if people were cheating in tournaments or in something that actually affected your real life. Which brings us to the next point. People hate cheaters because they feel like their time is being wasted. If someone has a limited amount of time to play games, and then they get matched against cheaters who just destroy them, they're obviously going to be upset over it. I get it, but it's not the end of the world. You can queue again or just leave and do something else. Crying about it and throwing a temper tantrum won't get you anywhere. Your time is not more valuable than anyone else's. Cheaters in a video game will never go away. It doesn't matter which game you play. You will still go against cheaters eventually. Whether you realize they're cheating or not is another matter, but cheaters will always be a factor. You can pray that they all unalive themselves, or you can accept it and adapt. Most cheaters have already adapted. They understand the playing field is not fair. People think CS2 is the only game with a gross amount of cheaters, but other games are no different. Call of Duty, Apex Legends, Rainbow Six Siege, Valorant, Rust, all have a significant amount of cheaters. You can't avoid them. They are everywhere. The anti-cheats won't save you. So either play only single-player games or adapt. Demonizing cheaters has often been done by people who want to cope and play the moral high ground. Whenever you see legit players complaining about cheaters and wishing the worst things possible on them, no one ever calls them out on it. It's because they've successfully demonized cheaters. They don't view cheaters as people. This psyop is often done by governments with propaganda to demonize certain types of people. The only way to make you okay with certain people dying is to make you not view them as people, or view them as evil. If you think cheaters are evil, you've successfully been programmed and you're an NPC. You can't think for yourself and you lack critical thinking. You're too emotional and you let your emotions control how you think. You're in a trance and nothing anyone says will wake you up or change your perspective. If you actually hate someone who cheats against you in a video game, you are no different than a monkey who mindlessly attacks someone who takes their food. If you find yourself wishing death on someone over a video game, you need to take a step back and reevaluate yourself. People often say cheaters are entitled, but I'd say the real entitlement is expecting everyone to play by the same rules, especially when there's no consequences to breaking the rules. So to answer the original question, are cheaters bad people? Well, they aren't good or bad people, they're just people. Most people can't even define what a bad person is. The world is not black and white. The world is nuanced and nobody is perfect. Most people rely on religion or the law or popular consensus to tell them what is right and what is wrong. But when you actually get down to it, it's all subjective. Some people would say a bad person is someone who causes harm to others. But then, what is harm? Is it only physical harm or mental harm as well? Mental harm is subjective. I could say people who play legit cause me harm. You can go further down the rabbit hole. But the point is, if you think logically about it, cheaters are not evil or bad people. Because 1, it's just a video game and you should stop caring about it in 5 minutes. And 2, it won't affect your life in any way, shape, or form. Cheaters aren't evil monsters. They have families just like you. I'm not saying cheaters should be celebrated or anything. But understand that in an unfair world, you can either whine and complain about it, or you can give yourself any advantage you can find. Because the world is cruel and no one is looking out for you, so you have to look out for yourself. Should cheaters get banned? Of course they should. In a perfect world, they'd all get banned. Most of the time, they usually get banned in the end. That's the risk they take from the choices that they made. But they shouldn't be jailed or unalived or demonized just because they cheated in a video game for meaningless virtual wins. If you've ever jaywalked or stolen a candy bar when you were younger, you actually broke the law, but nobody is asking for you to be in prison because of it. There's no need to be so angry and emotional when you come across someone using video game software. There's bigger problems in life, and you should save your energy for things that actually matter. If video game cheaters are your biggest ick in life, then consider yourself blessed, since your life is very privileged and others would love to be in your shoes.